Hello, I am Perry Bowen, and I am the co-founder of Bogwen Games and the co-creator of our new game, Bubble Ducks. And I'm coming at you today to do a little bit of an unboxing. Just to be a little bit clear, I've already opened this up just to check it out, just to make sure that everything in it is good and ready to go for public consumption, because this is kind of a first draft, so I wanted to make sure that everything was good. But this is what you're going to be able to expect from your copy of Bubble Ducks. So you can see here it comes in a nice little box. I have my address scratched out, of course, but it will come from the Game Crafters. These fine folks are what actually lets us do exactly what we need to do with this kind of a game. Being a small volume company so far, this company allows us to produce as little as one game at a time and up to 100 games at a time. So if you are interested in making your own board game, definitely head over to thegamecrafters.com. I'll put a link below so you can find it there. But yeah, let's go ahead and get open into it. And like I said, I already cut it. So when you open it up, you will get this nicely wrapped package here. Go ahead and take that out, set that aside, and you'll see your copy of Bubble Ducks. Now it does have a card, and you see this is a clear plastic box. There's a couple reasons we did this. One, this was actually a more cost-effective way of producing it instead of having the art box. And two, with it being plastic, you don't have to worry about like water getting on it. If it's sitting at your table and you spill something, then it's just going to just kind of bounce right off this deck. So let's go ahead and open it up and look at some of these ducks. So as we get into this, as you'll see, now these all do come in a random shuffle, but we have things like our card here that has all of the rules on it. So anything that is in the ruling is going to be right on that card. So that's going to be nice and easy for you to find. Let's take a look at some of these ducks. We've got the abductor. He is a little alien duck. As he comes into play, he gets, you get 1 point for him. But his special ability is you sink him to the bottom and you get to steal a duck from an opponent. Now, I should probably go ahead and kind of explain how this is played. As you see, we have a couple different abilities here. We're going to take a look at the abductor, the dead duck, and the bearded quack here. So the abductor has the ability to sink to the bottom, and I know that's not really clear in that. Get the focus, thank you. Okay, sink to the bottom. That is an ability that he has. Make a splash. This is the ability that the bearded quack has. And floating around. That is the ability that the dead duck has. The dead duck actually has make a splash and floats around because it matters. Making a splash, like bearded quack here, whenever he comes into play, that's when you use the ability. Floating around, whenever they're in play at the beginning or end of your turn, it will say on the card, that's when the ability activates. And sink to the bottom, you take this and you shuffle it back into your deck, or tub as we call it, and that lets him use his ability then. So with the abductor, he snatches your people up. The dead duck, he's a zombie duck, as you can see. So he needs fed. You got to keep feeding him those duck brains, or else he's going to get hungry and not going to want to help you anymore. He's going to go away and find more brains. And then you have the bearded quack. This wise old sage with his bubble wand. He lets you draw a card. And you might also be asking, what are these numbers up here in the corner? So the blue number is the amount of bubbles that you have to pop in order to play the duck. So this bearded quack only costs 1, the dead duck costs 2, and the abductor costs 3. All your ducks vary in cost between 1 and 5 bubbles, depending on the point costs that they give you, their abilities, all of that stuff factors into how much they cost. Now the green number here is the amount of points that they give you. And you see here the Bayou Biter, little gator duck, gives you 7 points. So he's worth a lot, but whenever he comes into play, he's hungry. You have to feed him 2 of your ducks in order for him to come into play. So you got to figure which ones you're going to want to use. Some of them make a splash abilities like the command duck and the bearded quack. You know, they only give you 1 point apiece. It would be worth feeding them to the Bayou Biter to get the extra points here. And then there are also ducks in here. The Duxecutioner is a good one. That is worth a negative amount of points. That's what this red square is about. Or red circle is about. Sorry. And the reason he's worth negative amount of points is because when he makes a splash, he makes all the other players choose 1 duck to shuffle back into the tub. So that's why we made him worth a negative amount of points. Same thing with the Murduck here. She's worth negative 2 points. But she produces extra bubbles. Because at the beginning of your turn, you get 5 bubbles to work with. So you have to really make sure you're using all of those bubbles. Now some of the more expensive ones like the Duckaroo, this little cowboy duck here, he's worth 9 points, costs 4 bubbles to cast, but he costs you money to keep him around. He costs you bubbles to keep him around. So you start your turn with 2 less bubbles. So instead of starting with 5, you only start with 3. So if you have something else like an Injutsu Master, you're not going to be able to cast him. So that's all where the strategy comes into play. Your Paladuck, this is a fun one. He keeps other ducks from sinking to the bottom. The Pygmy Ducks let you look at the top 3 cards of the tub and then put them back in any order, because whenever you're playing ducks, you start your turn with 5 cards. And as you're playing and playing, at the end of your turn, you draw back up to 5 cards in your hand. So the Pygmy Duck can allow you to say, okay, I got 2 cards I know that's going to be coming to me. So I'm going to look at the top 3. If I see the Superhero or the Wise Quack or the Confused Chicken, maybe I don't want the Confused Chicken in my hand, because the Confused Chicken is a fun little card. But maybe I don't want that to be put into play. So I'm going to put it down on the bottom of those 3 cards. Take the other 2. Yeah, so there's a lot more strategy in here than you would think. The Confused Chicken is actually one of my wife's favorite cards. And it's one that she came up with. I love the art on this guy. I'm actually going to bring it up here so we can see it a little bit better. But I love the art on this guy because he's, you know, just this little chicken. There he goes. This little chicken with a rubber floaty. And he costs 0 to play, and he is worth 0 points. He has to be played whenever he's first brought out. If you draw him, he has to come into play, and he follows the turn order. So what he does is he goes from player to player to player to player to player. And as he's getting passed around, your cards are getting passed around too. So whenever he goes to a new player, the player who owned him and the player who now owns him have to randomly trade 2 cards. So it brings a little bit of a confusion into the game. And because he thinks he's a duck, that's why he's the Confused Chicken. There's many more in here, and we plan on doing expansion packs as well. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little rundown of the game so you knew what you were getting into and so you could see how it comes. So that is Bubble Ducks. And I want to thank you guys very much for watching this video. Thank you guys very much for purchasing Bubble Ducks. Like I said, this has been a long time coming for me and Chet, the co-founder of Bogwen Games. Now, he isn't with me today to record this video, but he should be fairly, soon to record other videos so that we can show you like actual gameplay and stuff. But guys, feel free to record your own reaction videos, record your own unboxings, record your reviews of this game, and hashtag Bubble Ducks on Twitter, tag at Bogwen Games on Twitter. We also do have a Facebook page, again, at Bogwen Games. So feel free to tag us in those. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know how you enjoy the game. And hopefully you guys will stay tuned for our future ones. But I would like to thank you all very much for watching. Most importantly, have a great day.